Welcome, Bronies, to the FOB Equestria Podcast, the official podcast of FOB Equestria. This week, I have with me Commander Firebrand, Silvermane, Tweak, and Totally Not a Brony, who is a very special community guest on this episode.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
He's not very special. He's just kind of special.
Oh, yeah. I guess.
I've never been on EQD.
Really?
Yeah.
With
Really?
all that you do you ever
Seriously?
submit to them?
Well, no, I haven't. So
That explains it.
That
You know,
would-
I just want to say when he first said, "Hey, we're gonna have Totally Not a Brony on the show," I was like, "Oh man, that's so cool!" I thought, "Wait, where do I know that name?" Oh yeah, I gave his story kind of a not so good review on the FOB.
I still learned something from it. It's all right.
Awkward.
Yeah.
And how I know him is that his character completely obliterated mine in the Equestrian Death Battle.
I think actually how I first came to know Mr. Totally Not a Brony over there was probably through his DeviantART. You actually do quite a bit of military pony themed stuff, like Lauren Faust with a Panzerfaust, which I recently used in one of my own little things.
I'm kind of a gigantic fanboy. When I grow up, I want to be Tom Clancy.
Yeah.
Wait, you're saying you've written over almost 1 million words of fan fiction in a year, and you might be a fan? Bullcrap.
Yeah. So if you have not gathered at this point, he is quite the active community member in terms of the Brony fandom. Does quite a bit of, I would say, very good art, and it rates quite a bit of fan fiction. A surprising amount, actually. I don't really know how you do it, but you know. Anyway, I guess first subject for discussion would be the recent military Bronies React, which we have not made a post about on our website, but you know, it's been advertised elsewhere. I mean, there's a post on the Equestria Daily's nightly roundup even, so.
Yeah, and I even tactfully acquired my fan base to my other fan base, the other YouTube fan base with 50,000 subscribers, is like, hey, this thing exists. Just thought you might want to know.
Just saying.
And I'd also like to say I've gotten like at least 10 emails so far saying, are you really a drill sergeant?
Yeah, I saw a few.
How many-
different ones.
okay, and I'm also Tweak. I am very sorry for the people who have called you a drill instructor. I am very sorry.
Yeah, I had to go back and say no. That's the Marine Corps. I couldn't join the Marine Corps because I can count to 21 without being arrested for indecent exposure. So I had to join the Army.
Oh,
What?
bam!
20 and a half.
Well, I gotta say, your little drill sergeant performance was so inspiring that my reaction to your reaction was to draw Pinkie Pie on a campaign cover.
Yeah, I saw that. Pinkie Pie is a drill sergeant. My God, what have you done? You have
Wait.
damned us all.
Okay.
Pinkie Pie as a drill sergeant.
Yeah,
Intriguing.
very. I fear for my life.
Oh man. Hang on. I need to go up in a corner and laugh my head off.
But anyway, so for those of you who are not aware, we recently did a military Bronies React to Wonderbolt Academy. If you're actually, not in the know, well, now you are. And actually, I just checked at this point in time, it has 11,644 views according to YouTube. So it's made its way around a bit. It's not super well known like some Brony videos, but it is getting its fair share of views. And we haven't quite run into the copyright issues. Not as bad as with the last military Bronies React, but we've run into some resistance, so that's underway. Actually, Josh, do you have any update on that? Has that been resolved yet, or is that still kind of being debated?
Oh, what's been?
The
What are
copyright rights.
You talking to me?
Of sorts.
You talking to me?
No.
Well, the copyright's been fixed on my end regarding the other military Bronies React, if that's what you're asking.
I'm talking about Wonderbolt's Academy because I realized I saw some messages that it wasn't authorized for monetization because of copyright things, and
Oh, that.
has that been resolved? or no? Is that still underway?
I don't really think there's a way we can resolve that, but I'm still looking into it.
Okay.
It's like there's just a lot of poorly worded stuff that I'm really trying to work around. It's like all this copyright stuff. It's like it's like big companies saying we need to get all the money for this, and it's like, oh, what, this thing has footage, I don't care what it is, if it has footage from my thing, I'm going to delete it. Yeah, there's just a lot of it's just very poorly worded, and I'm trying to figure it out.
Yay for
I thought
evil.
fair use.
I'm hoping we can get money for it, because technically we should be getting money. It's like we're allowed to get money for it because it qualifies as a review,
Right.
Right. It's fair use.
as well as satire parody clause.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So yay for evil corporate overlords, I suppose.
So yeah,
Just you, Hasbro!
Yeah, basically just some dumb word. Oh yeah, my actually some of my My Little Pony reviews on my YouTube channel.
The 50,000 subscriber one?
got taken. Yeah, some of them got taken down from the German My Little Pony company.
What?
So I got copyright Nazis after me.
Quite literally.
We do
Wow.
not like these pony videos. You will take them down. Or
It's
we
like
will
it's like
cut
what
you.
they said. What they said is that I have the German My Little Pony stuff on my videos, which is no, I don't.
My response to that
Is
is you are wrong. So, yeah, but getting back on the subject of the Military Bronies React, Josh, you worked really, really hard on this, I could tell. I was actually very...
Don't remind me.
How long did that actually take you?
Months.
Months? Yeah.
Thing is, I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to my editing. I get like super OCD Twilight when it's like it has to be perfect. It has to do this. It has to do that. And I gotta make sure it's got to be this. It's like the thing has to be this many frames long, not seconds. It has to be this many frames long, because it's like if it's not this long, I won't be able to keep the audience's attention. This effect has to be perfect. This effect has to be perfect. It's got to be perfectly like this, because that's what you're supposed to do. Because that's what you're supposed to do when you edit videos. It's like, ugh.
Oh,
Basically,
Lord.
that you perfectly describe editor's OCD, and that's when you have a project that you can't get out in an extremely timely manner, and so it just festers and it gets building, and you start to literally analyze every sentence. You count every 32 frames in the second and think, okay, this frame right here is not, it needs to come here, or it's a jump cut or something else, and so
29.97 actually.
Oh, really? Oh, well, we did AFM, we were 32 frames per second. But anyway, yeah. So, but I just want to say that, Josh, I was honestly very impressed with it. Like, like, when you announced this project, that's why I only recorded the little thing, because I didn't know it was going to be, like, a big, huge production like it was. So I watched it, it was like 22 minutes. I'm like, well, what? Like, really? So you knocked it out of the park, man. All that work
was great.
was very well paid off.
Yeah, I mean, we aren't biased.
Move a little more to the left. You gotta put that spot. You gotta be very particular when you're kissing my butt.
I thought it looked very nice.
Okay,
Now,
fine.
of
It
course-
sucked. It was the most horrible, god-awful thing. I saw jump cuts. I saw lace frames. I saw everything.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now we're waiting. Ooh, when are you gonna do the next one?
We actually did have a suggestion to do...
Firebrand said, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, Firebrand doesn't want to talk about it, but someone actually
Firebrand's
did
in the corner,
suggest...
curled up, rocking back and crying. No more editing. No more editing. No more editing.
Yeah, we have to
Can't
give him a
sleep.
little
Please delete
bit.
me.
A little bit of a break.
So we have actually have a few ideas on what I want the next React to be, but for now I want to actually focus on my own YouTube channel.
That's fine. I understand that. The other one is kind of... you do have 50,000 subscribers to pander to, so... I mean, really. You can't just ignore them. Well, you could, but you don't want to.
Yes, my $600 paycheck from YouTube requires it.
And boy, would I love to be getting
And
that.
now I hate you.
But
Hey,
actually...
I worked for 4 years to get that.
Yeah, I get it, man. I bust my butt on my gamer YouTube channel to try and get subscribers, and it's nothing that's easily accomplished. So.
It took me 2 years to get 1,000.
I had a YouTube channel one time where I saw myself as the nostalgia critic of heavy metal, and then I realized that there is a crap ton of work that goes into making a YouTube channel like that, and there's way too much work in that for me, so I just kind of let it fall to the corner and die.
Yeah, it really is a lot of work, and that's what I've realized. I mean, I put out over 200 videos in the past year on my gamer channel, and, busting my butt left and right to gain only like 350 subscribers.
Yeah, that's one of the things I found out about Let's Plays. I actually tried doing a couple Let's Plays, but I personally didn't have the attention span to do them. And if I don't have the attention span to do them, if I'm not interested in what I'm doing, then there's no way the audience is.
Right. And I don't quite, right now I vary it up a little. I mean, the main focus is actually gameplay commentaries for a game called World of Tanks. It's kind of what I do. But digressing from that, I'll say one more thing on my end about the Military Bronies React to Wonderbolt Academy is I was pleasantly surprised at the end. In fact, I was laughing my ass off, quite literally. So, that was hilarious. And I'm not just saying that because it involves me. Or maybe I am.
Okay, so when I praise you, I'm kissing your ass. When he does it, it's a good you squeak. Thanks a lot.
I didn't squeak. I said oopsie.
Yeah, he said oopsie. So if you want to know
like a squeak.
If you want to know, you should watch the video
boy!
all the way through. Watch it all the way through, and you will completely understand. And one of us should really get on writing a post for the video on our website, but we'll get to it. It's like I said, it's been advertised elsewhere. It's made its way to EQD. It's made its way to our Facebook.
Yeah, I'd be lying if I didn't say I was disappointed we didn't get our own post, but at least we got the roundup, so beggars can't be choosers. It shouldn't be looking a gift horse in the mouth.
Yeah, Acer Wrestler, when he does reaction videos, he gets a front page post.
Wait, what? Oh, you're talking about AC Race Best?
Yeah, that guy.
I for a second, my brain heard you say Acer Spacer.
Me too. I was like, what? Where?
And I was like, wait, what? Acer does derp. That's all I have to say on that. But anyway, so any other thoughts about Military Bronies React to Wonderbolt's Academy?
Well, it sounds like all of you do a whole lot of work on YouTube trying to get actual money.
No, not really.
Nah, just me.
Well, yeah, mostly just Josh. And anything we monetize on YouTube really just goes towards the site, paying for the site and stuff like that. I mean, it would go towards paying towards our TeamSpeak channel, our TeamSpeak server, if we paid for that. But I host it, so it's nicely taken care of, and it's free except for my internet expenses, which I would be paying for anyway. So
well, at least now I see why you don't have any time for fan fiction.
Ooh.
But I appreciate it. I'm sure you're a whole lot better at these videos than I am.
But that's up for debate. But I guess that pretty much wraps up Wonderbolt Academy React Military Brony style. Yeah, I completely just said that all the way backwards on purpose. Not on accident at all. But moving on to yet another video related subject, the My Little Pony Tron video that recently came out, which, I kind of liked it, but
I liked it. My issue with it was they obviously put so much work into the animation. You can see that, and it shows, but the audio, they just used cut up dialogue from the show, and I'm thinking to myself, there's so many talented voice actresses in this fan community that do almost spot on. So you could have had custom dialogue with that, but you didn't. And it just seemed like, I liked it, but it seemed like that was a little bit of a cheap move.
I was never really a fan of Tron, so it didn't really speak to me.
I think my biggest issue with it was possibly, well, one, the lack of actual dialogue didn't bother me. But the way the camera was approached, just how shaky and jumpy the cameras seemed to be, was a bit jarring, and it made it a little hard to watch. But overall, I'll say it was a good video.
Yeah, it was very good. It's I can tell a lot of effort was put into it, and I can tell for a particular audience that it's like one of the greatest things ever made. But for me, it just didn't do it.
And that's actually something I was surprised about. It should have done it for me when if we're talking about it like that, because I am a huge Tron fan. I loved Tron Legacy. That is one of my favorite movies, and so this should have been like the greatest thing ever for me. But after I watched it, I kind of just said,
okay,
that was pretty
lost a couple
cool.
of cool points with me because Tron Legacy was okay, but the original Tron, that was awesome.
That was awesome.
I do. Yeah, I really do need to take the time and get into that.
You haven't watched it?
No, that was before my time.
That's before my time. I've still seen it.
I have not had the opportunity to see it yet.
Upper mother. Ooh.
Then they had
Slap
an arcade
yourself,
game
Spangle.
that came out with it.
What was that, Silver?
I said then they had an arcade game that came out with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
titled
was basically Snake with 2 players.
Pretty much. I think that's
No, it was
inaccurate.
1 player.
I thought you could have 2 players on it.
Well, the arcade one?
I think that's the one we're talking about, isn't it?
Maybe. I thought it was just 1 player. I played it a couple times, but it was been a while ago. That movie came out in what,
82, wasn't it?
82? Yeah.
I don't know if it was 82 or
Had
later.
some of the first computer-generated CGI in it.
Yeah. Groundbreaking.
Yes. Owned by the evil overlord Disney.
Yeah.
Our bouncer belong to us.
You just reminded me of the fact that Disney bought the rights to Star Wars, and they're going to be
the first
making.
thing they did was fire everybody at LucasArts and shut everything
Geniuses.
Really?
down. They did.
Oh,
Well, come on. When was the last time LucasArts made a good game?
I think that's a fair
Battlefront
When's the
assumption.
last time that anything involving Star Wars wasn't a complete abject failure? Well, in the movie theaters, anyway.
Oh, wow! You just completely slammed.
Yeah, it's like that's something I never understood. Why did they re-release Phantom Menace in 3D? Okay, wasn't that the episode that everyone hated?
Because
Yeah,
Lucas
Jar
wants
Jar.
money. That's why. That's the only reason why.
because he hasn't gotten enough.
Why?
Why do Hollywood people want money?
No, it's like if you want money, why don't you release an episode that everyone liked instead of the episode that everyone hated? It's like, have you
Because
seen the Red Letter Media review of that thing?
Yes, and
It's
exactly.
longer than the actual movie.
That's my point. Lucas is he's shoving it down our throats. He's saying, "Damn it, you are going to like this because I say it's cool." He won't let us forget. The nerd community as a whole is doing everything it can to forget episodes 1, 2, and 3. But Lucas will not let us because he has some ego thing.
I kind of liked episode 3.
Yeah, I like episode
Parts of
3
it,
as well.
Jar Jar
I
wasn't in
I
there.
liked it when he cut off Anakin's arms and legs. That
So here's the
whiny,
thing about
whiny little so-and-so. That doesn't love me. They took the darkest, most evilest character in cinematic history and made him to a whiny little emo brat.
They did.
And then they made him into an asthmatic robot.
Here's the thing about me. It's like, I actually remember. I actually saw when I was in Africa, when I was in Kenya, I actually saw a midnight showing 1 week before the 1 week before the worldwide release. So I actually saw Star Wars Episode 3 before any of you. Ha ha.
Ha ha.
Anyways, I actually remember tearing up a little at the final battle between Anakin and
Obi-Wan.
and Obi-Wan, because the thing is, I can buy into the drama. I can buy into the feelings and emotions that are going on until Anakin opens his mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he had some of the worst dialogue. It's the end for you, my master. Really, guys?
Yeah. Bad dialogue.
Even in episode 2, it was really bad. It was like, I will be the most powerful Jedi ever. Yes, Anakin, chew that scenery. Chew it like you love it.
Yeah.
Nom, nom, nom.
And three of us here are actually, our job on the website is kind of to be critics. So we're especially hateful of bad dialogue. Ugh. It's horrible.
Yeah, I have fairly small hopes for the next one, but bigger hopes for the one after that. I think 7 is going to be fairly iffy. 8 should be real good because they're using the same writers they used for episode 6.
Oh.
I mean, episode 5.
Oh.
The Empire
Again,
Strikes Back.
I'm excited for it because, like you said, it's completely new blood. That was
Right.
what was holding back, the franchise was freaking George Lucas.
Well, the next one coming out, it's going to be rushed. They're getting the whole cast together, getting a script written, getting the whole movie done in a year. So I'm not sure about this one, but the next one I have better hopes for.
That is
And supposedly
assuming
they've
Disney
signed up
does that.
Carrie
That is
Fisher.
assuming Disney doesn't pull a Chronicles of Narnia and say, "Oh, this one was bad. We're gonna tank it."
Well, they made 3 before they figured it out with Narnia.
2.
They made the Voyage of the Dawn Treader too, right?
Disney didn't do that.
Didn't do that? Okay, well, the main characters were only in it for like 5 minutes anyway. But
Yeah.
they had plans for doing what, a movie every 3 years or something forever? We'll see.
Yeah, it's, it
They
is.
just canceled the Clone Wars too. Genndy Tartakovsky was a little upset.
Really?
Yes,
Oh.
that's gone now.
Well, he'll have to deal.
How did we get on Star Wars?
Because tangents.
It's everywhere.
Because
Tangents. This podcast runs on tangents.
I could exactly trace how we got here, but that would take more time and talk more about Star Wars. So, just ignoring the fact we were talking about Star Wars, let's talk about conventions, because conventions
Yes.
are awesome.
Yay!
One thing we didn't talk about last time, which was a suggested topic, and I just have to say sorry, but is someone suggested that we talk about basically advice for first-time con-goers, if there's anything you should try to do or maybe try to avoid.
Hands.
Wash your
Well,
hands.
as it happens, I'm a first-time con goer, so you can lecture me directly.
Okay, I tell you right now. Wash your hands and wear clean clothes every single day. You walk around con on like day 2 or 3 and it starts smelling like hot, concentrated man ass because no one does personal proper hygiene.
Yeah, good hygiene's something that should be exercised. I mean, be considerate of the other people going to the con and try not to smell up the place.
Yes.
That might be a little bit rude to put it that way, but it's, the truth hurts. Just, yeah. Anyway, and the other thing I would have to say is definitely if you can go with some friends, if you can go with a group of people to hang out with, that kind of makes the experience a little more enjoyable.
Very much so, because like I said, LPU, Las Vegas Unicon, it was kind of not the best environment, but hanging out with Silvermane, Mish, and
You
Spangled.
too. We
Yeah,
had all
look-
kinds of fun.
I know it was a lot. It was a lot of fun. You know what? Here's a little cool thing. It's a lot like Apple Family Reunion. You remember
Exactly.
the who long after you've forgotten the what.
Yeah, so, and we actually...
Everything comes back to ponies.
Everything does come back to ponies. And we actually ended up tagging along with the guys from Celestia Radio and hanging out with
We
Cyril the
did.
Wolf quite a bit.
Yeah.
And a few other Brony musicians, and like I said, it definitely, and Tweak also strongly supported, it definitely helps to go there with a group of people you plan to hang out with. Because after the con's done, otherwise, if you don't have a group of people you're going to hang out with, you're probably just going to go up and sit in your hotel room. And who really wants to be doing that?
No, especially since you're paying for it. Another suggestion I might have, this is just me though, is set a budget. Take a certain amount of money and try not to spend more than that, because there is stuff you're going to want.
Yes, and I can speak.
Ask Tweak.
I fell victim to this. Yes, I also blame the fact that I didn't have a whole or actually any pony swag before I went.
Oh,
I
you
went
didn't?
there. No, I didn't.
Wow.
I went there and it was a smorgasbord. There were plushies and customs and posters and T-shirts, and I went a little overboard and I spent. I'll say I spent close to $1,000 on pony merch because I lost control.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he had $200 spent before the con even opened.
Yeah, before the con even opened, I bought the Pinkie Pie plushie.
Yeah, so a budget is good, definitely. The merchandise at cons tends to be above what is commercially available in terms of quality and
cost.
Cost. So you definitely need to plan accordingly.
The plushie that Tweak got was $200, and really it was better than the $400 plushies they had there, because those was like real hard or real soft. And I think it was Echan 33, I think, did his, and it was, for that price, it was an excellent plushie.
Yes,
he carried it around all weekend, and it would still look great.
Yeah,
He got it signed by Andrea Lippman.
Right.
Yeah, you know, I'm actually not much of a merch person. It's like when
Neither am
last Bronycon, I didn't buy a single thing.
well then you save a lot of money. So good on you.
I can't.
I don't know. It's like I'm the kind of guy that prefers function over form.
Hey, that's perfectly fine.
Tweak and I are in the button collecting death match right now, so.
So I'm not much of a collector. It's like if I'm gonna buy something, I'm going to buy something, I'm going to use it. Otherwise, I'm not shelling out the money for it.
Yeah, I can understand that, but at the same time, there is a collector side of me that does kind of give in, and I like shirts. That's my thing. I like shirts and I like cards, and plushies are kind of nice, but I don't really have a reason to buy any because I have a friend who makes them, and I already basically have my Vinyl Scratch and my Luna plushies, which are really all I need. So I'm not spending hundreds of dollars on plushies.
In last week's podcast, didn't sound like any of you were going to Everfree Northwest.
I don't believe any of us are.
Not us
currently.
here.
Nope.
Okay, I'll be traveling to that con in July.
Oh,
All right.
Ooh.
now
Speaking of which, I still need to get my leave approved for Bronycon. Eek.
yeah,
Sweet.
I'm gonna start talking that with my shop pretty soon as well to make sure it does happen. And while on the subject of Bronycon, there have been a few things confirmed. If you want to take the floor in this, Silvermane.
I'd be glad to. Here a couple months ago, Tweak and I put in applications to be part of the event programmers at Bronycon, and last week we both got approved, and part of that approval process is they said, since you're both military bronies, we're going to basically give you the military side of the events happening. So I found out yesterday they're going to let me do we're going to have a formation march, all military bronies. Hopefully it's going to be opening day on Friday morning, opening the con, and then we're going to have a charity run open to anybody. That will be a time will be determined on that one. So I'm hoping any military brony that wants to, as soon as I get some stuff set up, we'll get a sign-up sheet for the formation march, and the charity run will be open to anybody. And of course, we'll have to have a sign-up for that because there'll be waivers and everything else. But that's the big news. Both of them have been confirmed, and stay tuned for more news as soon as I get things finalized on it. I've got to make up quite a bit of paperwork.
Yeah, Silvermane is our official, POC, our point of contact for all things BronyCon related, which it's good that we are that organized.
Yeah,
And-
well, things dropped off the radar a little bit. Mostly everybody that people had like Josh and King and everybody talked to in the past in December, they're basically all gone now. They had a complete management change, so
Really?
everybody's new. Yes.
So BronyCon staff seems to be changing up. I think one thing of that also kind of shifted focus was, didn't it? I heard some news that the military brony panel that's going on at BronyCon originally was being headed up by another member of Military Brony's Facebook. But I heard through the chat, correct me if I'm wrong on this, please, that control has shifted over to us for whatever reason.
Yes, it has.
Mainly because we're actually on the event programming staff, so they said, you know what, we'll let Silvermane and Tweak handle it.
Exactly.
Okay. So we are in control at this point of all things military brony going on at BronyCon.
Right, and probably Tweak, we'll find out more tomorrow, but I imagine Tweak will be in charge of that military panel since he's going to be on that panel.
Well,
We have a meeting with the whole department tomorrow over Skype, and once I find out, I will let everyone know.
who's going
Right.
to moderate the panel?
Me, most likely.
Really? Well, you're
Yeah.
on the panel, and you're going to be
We got
moderating.
we got handed complete control for this, so
That's
They
kind
said
of...
one guy's an E6, one guy's an E8. We'll just let you guys take what you want. We got to, of course, give them outlines of what we're going to do, but we have control over it so far until we get fired.
Until you get fired. I like how that was an until rather than an unless. Way to be optimistic.
That's right. But I'm sure we get unfired just as quick. I mean, when I get handed a project like this, I usually run with it. So, I mean, I'll get it 90% done before I even ask how they like it. So I expect great things out of both of these. You know, we got, since we were you got two guys there from FOB Equestria that got handed staff positions at Bronycon, and they're both military, so we should, make it epic.
Oh yeah, and there are some other things in the works, but right now you mentioned that formation march.
Yes.
If we do end up getting it scheduled for the opening ceremonies, in the morning sort of deal, that means we'll most likely have to try and have some sort of practice, session the night before just to make sure everything's working out, make sure everyone's there. So Thursday.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to get my leave approved. It's because my block leave is the week after Bronycon, so I'm trying to get it. So I'm trying to get it approved to come 3 days before that weekend.
Right.
Right. Well, hopefully everything falls into place. With military guys, They let me go last year. Yeah.
But the thing is, I got a new CO, so I'm wondering if.
Yeah. New leadership always makes things iffy, but it's something that you can't avoid. And he might not like ponies, possibly.
Oh, he likes ponies, actually.
Oh yeah, actually, now that you say that, I do remember you got that. What was it? A text message from him?
Yes, he texted me saying I just randomly, just throughout the day, I got a text saying it was the moral from Wonderbolt Academy, which was being the best should never come at the expense of fellow ponies. I just look at it and I text back to him, "Sir, welcome to the herd."
Welcome to the herd. That's right.
So wait, what rank is your CO there?
Chief Warrant Officer 4.
Oh yeah, that's right. The Marine still has warrant officers, but still, Chief Warrant Officer 4. Wow. Yeah, that's a thing. But anyway, any more con news that we wish to discuss? Any more con advice? Because we pretty much covered 3 things for advice. Hygiene is important. Good hygiene should always be exercised. Having a budget and, having friends that you're going to hang out with. Maybe not even planned, but just go there with the intent to meet up with maybe a group of guys, or with the intent to try and just attach yourself to a group of guys and hang out, because like I said, the con only goes for so long. And
we could also probably, it's like I could probably work something out with my folks. We could have it's like, because I live literally 20 minutes away from the con, so maybe we could have like a military fun night at my house.
Oh Lord, that would, I don't know.
That sounded messed up right
mom's
there.
fed. It's like my mom's fed my entire unit before when we came back from New York, so I don't think she would mind greatly.
Hey, maybe we could all come back and have fun in my place.
Yeah, you would make it sound perverted.
Yeah, it's tweak. But as it has been mentioned, there are a few cosplayers at conventions, and so you should if you're a guy, I mean, you might not want to gross out the girls. Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with that, I think the chances of us having a party have gone down, because my parents aren't really too keen on me being a brony.
I just heard a motorcycle noise.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Ignoring that.
Yeah, I'm just having this podcast from the road.
Yeah.
Whoa.
On your motorcycle, nerd. Anyway, so moving on, unless someone has something else they want to talk about on con stuff, which I'm assuming not. If you do, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Just one more.
I
quick
object.
thing.
Okay.
It'll probably be Tweak calling the cadence for the formation march. Other than that, that's about it.
Well, I mean,
We had a general consensus. We have a drill sergeant. He'll be doing the cadence.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty much. And that's not open for debate at this point.
Nope.
Yep.
But, you know, we'll definitely have more of those details ironed out as things go along. So, moving on is, completely changing gears here. So, supposedly, there is, like, just, this whole concept sounds horrible, but apparently they're, like, isn't it NBC or something? Some TV channel is looking, supposedly, to host a reality show about bronies.
Oh my god.
And just...
Okay, hold up. What?
Wait, you didn't see this in the chat?
No, I think
Apparently
we only
not.
posted. I think we only posted it in the staff chat.
Okay, so this was a
You still
secret...
haven't let me in that, you assholes.
This was a secret conversation among higher-ranking staff members. Got it. So, just... I don't even know where to begin on this. It just sounds so horrible. Just the wording of it even just makes it sound so much like a trap. And it makes it sound like it's not even real. It sounds like it's just a troll. Josh, help me. Help me, please.
I don't even know who this person thought they were going to be fooling. It's like, okay, from the writers of, they said from the people who brought to you Biggest Loser.
Bang.
And the people who brought you Biggest Loser are bringing you a new show about bronies and their very interesting lifestyles.
Okay, hold up. I'm Googling this and I don't see this. Like, because if I don't see official documentation of this, I'm calling bullcrap.
No, I've already done my research. I call it bullcrap a long time ago. It's like does this person really think that this is a show that people will watch?
The community as a
Will-
whole
it's
is
like-
growing larger,
it's
but
like,
there's
is
just
this a-
not
is
enough
this really
audience
something
fan
that-
base to
it's like-
justify it.
Sorry, what?
Well,
I'm just saying, there's more and more bronies out there, but there's not that many to watch a TV show.
No, it's like the thing is that to watch a TV show, but it's not really
About
going to be
themselves.
direct. It's not going to be marketed towards bronies. It's going to be marketed towards the it's going to be marketed towards the masses. And so basically, what this person is trying to put forth is a show about bronies.
No, they don't want to be about bronies. They want to be about the crazy psycho people that call themselves bronies. It's the same thing that happened. You know what? I'm sorry, I'm getting a little upset about this. It's the same thing that happened to the furry community back in the day. If you don't remember, back in the day, way back in the day, the furry community used to be, a normal thing. But then they had one con where they focused on the sex thing, and they permanently branded them. And now anytime any sort of media brings them up, it's always the people who are having sex in fursuits and doing all this weird nasty crap that like walk around in their daily lives dressed up as furry animals or something. And that's what they want to do with us. They want to show the crazy psycho people that have an entire room full of pony gimmers, live in their parents' basements, and have never so much as looked at a real girl other than on a TV screen. And they want to say,
about the
look,
people that buy
this
the
is-"
plush Lyras and with the holes in them.
Exactly, the ones who buy that Lyra plushie. They want people to show, hey, look at these queer, crazy people. And it's like, dude, no, we're not like that. But obviously, they're not going to care. They don't care about facts. They care about ratings.
Yeah, but can you make a whole show about that? It seems like it'd be like one episode.
It is about that. It's all about ratings, and it's all about creating this big clamor. And it is similar to what was done, quite a while ago, actually, when there was this whole reaching out by the TV show My Strange Addiction to the brony community. But, there was a whole stop to that. EQD kind of made a PSA about that, saying, hey, you guys, you probably shouldn't do this. It doesn't reflect us in the best light. And, you get some people who say, well, people we should... As bronies, we should be accepting of everyone in our community, and at the same time, but
accepting doesn't mean we want you in the spotlight.
Yeah, agreed. And some people raise some, angry comments at the Brony documentary for not really talking about the cloppers, and John Delancey talked on that a little in his interview at Las Pegasus Unicon, saying, well, we don't really want the spotlight on that, because that's not something that really defines the majority of the community, for one. And for two, that doesn't that's something that the general public is going to see and say, oh my gosh, look at these freaks. So it is kind of a PA thing, a public affairs thing as well.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
besides, it's totally not legit. I mean, just one look at that email that we were sent, and I actually have it looking up. I actually have it in front of me right now, and it's just all right. It's like she claims to be from Los Angeles, and she gave her phone number. I put in her phone number. Yeah, that phone number puts her in Washington State, not Los Angeles. And why would she give us a cell phone number for a pitch for a show like this? That just doesn't make any sense. And two, why was she only looking in North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida when she's from Los Angeles? And speaking of which, why only those states?
Yeah, it definitely smells horribly, horribly fishy. And I guess this
And
is
next,
our PSA saying,
how the heck did this show get greenlighted? They pitched the show so this writer supposedly pitched the show to the producers and it got greenlit. I'm sorry. I have a and also, wouldn't they need to get written permission from Hasbro to do this?
possibly. You know, it is.
If they were going to use pony images, then yes, they would need to. And honestly, look, for as much as we complain and people like to look at Hasbro and the Hub as some sort of boogeyman that's always censoring stuff, they would not throw us under the bus like that.
No.
Yeah, so, and even if this whole thing was legit, I would really expect EQD to pick up on this first.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be honest.
Exactly.
If it was, yeah. And so if you see this out there, just be aware that this is most likely a hoax. And even if it isn't, this is not something we should really put ourselves out there for. But I'm leaning towards 99% this is a hoax.
It's a hoax, yeah.
So, PSA, the more you know. And then the
I've
star.
learned things. I have. I really have.
Quite so. But I guess this actually makes it for a pretty decent transition into a story of sorts shared with me by one of our listeners who is apparently in the Canadian military sorts. From what I gathered, he is currently a cadet. So he's kind of in training, as it were. But so the story goes pretty much as follows. He was at this 2 weeks of training sort of deal with 200 cadets or so, and it turns out 47 of them were bronies, apparently. So he did us some advertising and told them all about FOB Equestria, so that was nice of him. But anyway, before lights out, they would go out to have an hour walk, and him and his new friends would go down to this gas station to get drinks and food because, well, it was, the cafeteria wasn't military food, government food, really. I mean, who wants that? So, at the gas station near the last day, they were wearing some pony merchandise, and they go to the gas station, like they've been doing, but most of the time they've been going in uniform. But when they get there, the cashier actually denied them service. He's basically said, sorry, we don't want your type here.
This was in Canada?
It's North Sail in Victoria, Canada, British Columbia. Or whatever BC stands for. I don't know. I'm an ignorant American, but yes, in Canada. So, and North Sail, apparently. So basically, he was a huge anti-brony and even went so far as to call them faggots. However, him and his friends sent in complaints, about him basically being intolerant and denying them service just because of a show they liked. And it turns out the cashier got fired. So justice was served. And so if you're a hater and you're listening to this, which, why in the world would you be listening to a brony podcast if you're a hater, other than to hate us? Just use material to hate us and make hateful comments down below. But anyway, I digress. This just proves being hateful of something is okay as long as you don't let it interfere with your job, at which point it will probably get you fired. Because, you're free to hate what you want to hate. It's not nice, But hey, free country. Well, ours is anyway. Canada's kind of free.
Hey, ain't no one free but America.
Didn't that last poll in the most free countries on Earth, didn't America get like
22nd.
Hey, you take that hippie communist crap and get out of here. This here is America.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that had been in British Columbia, but, you know, I mean, you can have weird people anywhere. Look what happened to Tweak here a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I guess this is, what do I want to, this was a submission actually sent in from, he goes as Brendan KH, and I guess from now on, if there's interesting stories, we can do military brony story time, I guess. Because
I love it.
We had Tweak kind of go off on his, I mean, Tweak had a legitimately interesting story to tell. He got nearly stabbed and almost shot a guy. So, yeah.
Hey, that's a good weekend right there.
That is a good weekend. And this, you know, this is interesting. I mean, look, someone actually tried to legitimately deny bronies service because they were bronies. I mean, my first response is, what? Really? And then the second response to him getting fired is, that's what you get. So, it's, I guess if you have an interesting story, you can send it in and we'll consider talking about it. But on the subject of this one, you guys have any kind of thoughts about it?
Well, you know, I'm always amazed when you hear these stories that somebody that would hate on bronies like that has to at least know what they are, or the shirts wouldn't mean anything.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, at least getting fairly well known. I mean, to hate on something, at least got to know what it is, you'd think. If somebody didn't have a clue what bronies or My Little Pony was, would they even care what shirt you had on?
Well,
I mean, like Tweak's Drink Cider, Learn Nothing shirt. If you didn't know what MOP or Applejack, you wouldn't have a clue what that shirt meant, or to be offended by it.
I've had some time to think on that subject, and bronies have become a pretty well-known phenomenon of sorts. I mean, let's face it, a lot of news organizations have covered us, and some of them in not quite a favorable light. You know, they've made assumptions rather than doing the research, as the media tends to do from time to time. And I think that's what a lot of the haters do in general, is they get their general idea, which they know we're adult men who like My Little Pony, which supposedly is just for little girls, and then they go off completely off of their own assumptions, off of their own sort of ideas of what that means, rather than having any basis in fact. And so they hate out of ignorance rather than hate. I mean, if you're gonna hate something, you should at least know what you're hating on. Be an informed hater.
Too many people
That's
have
why I
opi-
read the whole
Too
Twilight
many people
series,
have.
so I could criticize with authority. And I kind of lost at that.
Yeah, too many people have opinions about things that they know nothing about, and the more opinions they have, usually the stupider they are.
Yeah, and honestly, my personal opinion on that is, why should I care about the opinions of someone who is clearly a willingly ignorant, just ill-informed person who really just comes across as unintelligent? I mean, why should I care?
I love that phrase you use, willingly ignorant. Do you know what that translates to? Dumb on purpose.
Pretty much, yeah. And again, why would I care about the opinions of someone like that? I don't. So haters, for the most part, as long as they don't interfere with my life, if they're just going to spout hateful comments and that's all they're going to do, you know what? You can do that until you're blue in the face. 0 fucks given. So, there we go. But in this case, where this person actually tried to deny service, yeah, go ahead, file complaints, get that person fired, make them pay for their hatred, justice will be served, and all that good stuff. Because, I mean, that's not okay.
I think the manager was just trying to save his own skin, because technically that qualifies, that's kind of a hate crime.
It kind of is. Yeah. So, but still, like I said, it's not okay for them to do that sort of thing, but I'm not quite sure exactly on the internal working of Canada's government, but I'm pretty certain they have freedom of speech. So you're free to say what you want, especially on the internet, and God don't we know it. But like I said, the moment you try to actually deny Brony something or actually taking significant actions to impact their life, and it's not okay. So, anyway. Final thoughts on that? Or any more thoughts on that? I guess it shouldn't even be final.
People are dumb.
People dumb. Yes.
And they're dumb on purpose a lot of times.
Yeah. Some people, like I said, they are willingly ignorant. They hate something because of the general premise, their ideas of it, and they don't want to know more about it. They just hate it because it exists, more or less, without actually having an idea of what they're really hating. So, it's...
Yes. I've heard that, a show for little girls before, and I say, watch Candlelight Wedding. It's got alien invasions, terrorist attacks, kidnapping, war. That's, a little bit...
It's an entertaining show for all audiences, and sometimes questionably so for younger audiences. But so moving. That was pretty much the last thing I had. I wanted to bring up. Anything you guys want to talk about?
Are we think we're done completely?
Oh wait. That's right, Tweak. You had your whole fan fiction thing. You wanted to bring up. So go promote that. I've actually something just recently came up. You talk about that, and you guys discuss that while I go take care of this real quick.
Okay, so I'm sure right now everyone has seen or at least heard of. Okay, someone turn off the microphone because I can hear myself talk. All right, there we go. All right, I love hearing the sound of my own voice, but it gets a little annoying. Anyway, if everyone knows about the Brony documentary, the extremely unexpected fan base of My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic, and that did a good job of shining a light on the fandom, but it shined a light on artists, on musicians, but when it came to writers, it really dropped the ball. There were 2 lines in the song that John Delancey sang about fan fiction, and it related to clop and shipping. And now we are not saying that the documentary sucked. All we're saying is they neglected a major part of the fandom, which is fan fiction. And so because of this, a guy I work with a lot, Pequo, he's actually the editor for my stories.
Oh, hey, I know him. He invited me to Everfree Northwest.
Well, yeah, there you go. Him and Wanderer D, who runs fanfiction.net, are making a 45-minute documentary simply titled Brony Fanfiction Documentary 2013. And its goal is very simply to highlight the role of fanfiction, talk to some of the more popular or endearing authors, explain why people like to write fanfiction, the different kinds, different genres, why we all why we love writing and what brings us to it. So if you want more information about it, you can head over to fanfiction.net and click on the right side. You'll see a link to Wanderer D's profile, and he will have all the information you need about it. Or if you have questions, you can email to FimFanficDoc, that's FIMFANFICDOC @gmail.com. That will go straight to Pequo. And
You're not using phonetic alphabet. You're wrong.
Fine. For our phonetic friends, Foxtrot India Mike, Foxtrot Alpha November, Foxtrot India Charlie, Delta Oscar Charlie @gmail.com. And I'm not just saying this because I'm actually going to be one of the people they talk to. I'm generally saying fan fiction to me is one of the 3 big pillars of the Brony fandom, and we need our little time in the sun. And because authors don't get any sort of attention at conventions. You're not going to see Aesthetic B or Pony Door or Prancy Pants signing copies of their stories next in Artist Alley at Bronycon. So this is just a way to give a little bit of recognition and to highlight a lot of hard work that a lot of people do to make high quality pony fan fiction.
It's like fan fiction is now a legitimate art form now. It's writing. It's art. And they put a lot of effort into it, and a lot of sneering attitudes towards fan fiction. It's like, oh, fan fiction is all just creepy, self-serving imagination stuff, just to beat off to. It's like, no,
Well,
it's
you all
not.
had to
It's like
start
the
somewhere.
thing is,
I say, like, I when I first became a brony, I was on EQD. I used to skim right past the fan fiction because I thought, like a lot of people do, I thought it was all, self-indulgent wankery and wish fulfillment and nothing of any merit. But then when I started reading, I realized that these are just people who have a story to tell and a lot. And now look, people argue that there's a lot of bad fan fiction out there, and yes,
there is.
But I would also say there is a lot of bad artwork and bad music out there. And that just because there is bad stuff doesn't mean we shouldn't pay attention to the good stuff. Now, yes, any given day, if you go on FanFiction and you go to the feature box, you're going to see a whole bunch of crap that's up there because it deals with a meme or some whatever. But it's a
shipping between Twilight and Rainbow Dash.
Yes, intermain
No way.
which I cannot freaking stand. Oh my god, I hate intermain 6 shipping. But anyway,
I hate shipping in general. I am anti-ship.
Anyway. But if you look, you look at people like stories like The Immortal Game, Fly at the Alicorn, It's a Dangerous Business Going Out Your Door, Under a Luminous Sky.
Wow! I can't believe you just went there.
Yes, I did. But in all seriousness, there are a lot of really talented authors who put a lot of time and effort into polishing their stories and making them the best they can. And this documentary is simply a way to put a little spotlight on them and let us have our time in the sun.
Yeah, because you mentioned this before, that it's been vastly underrated, most of the Brony reviews and documentaries. And I think probably FOB Equestria had a lot to do with getting the writing up to a little bit more exposure than it had before.
Well, yes, and they're going to talk about the big three of the first three really big fan fictions were FOB Equestria, Past Sins, and My Little Dashie. And I'd like to point out at least 2 of those are complete and total crap, but I'm not going to say which ones. My Little Dashie.
Oh!
Yeah, it's one of our first reviews. The one that I actually wrote was for My Little Dashie, and yeah, manly cheers, they were not shed.
Yeah.
They're making another video on that too, by the way.
I lost track of how many movies that they're actually making of that.
They're supposedly... Dude, at one point someone was making an audiobook of my story, alright? So many of those projects are picked up and just forgotten about, so I'm not looking at it at all.
Well, there's a
yeah,
teaser
it's
out for
on
it
the other
so
hand,
far.
I do owe a lot to My Little Dashie because it was the first pony fan fiction that I read. And so everyone was saying, "Oh my gosh, this is such a sad story," and then I read it, and I'm like, okay, I'll give it a shot. It's like, okay, this wasn't utter crap.
The first fanfiction I ever read was Silent Ponyville, and I wasn't gonna read it, but then I like, wait. Pinkie Pie goes to Silent Hill. This can only end in awesomeness.
Yeah,
and did it?
And the second fan
Yes,
fiction I read was the second fan fiction I read was probably the most popular Rule 63 fic out there, On a Cross and Arrow,
which I thought was really, really good.
Wow.
Yeah, and then that's really the first story I favorited on FinFiction, and
I actually watched the FimFam Philosophy deal they did on My Little Dashie before I read the fanfic, so I went backwards, I guess.
Well, as I was saying, if you want more information on this, go to fanfiction.net and look. Just Google Brony fanfiction documentary, and the forum will pop up. Any support you can give, just tell your friends about it or express interest in it. And again, talk to Pequo Pie or Wanderer D. And I hope that you all are as excited about this as I am.
Yeah, I'm excited for it because, you did bring up a good point. Fanfiction writers in this community really don't get any sort of spotlight attention.
No.
So it's nice. And, your Tweak here is a writer, and Totally Not a Brony is definitely a writer, and Commander Firebrain is certainly a writer of sorts. And
dabbles,
and I
would write fast. I would be more active if I could write faster, and I wouldn't stop second guessing myself on what's the best way to say something.
Yeah, and I like to pretend I'm a writer, but really all I've legitimately published is like a one-shot that's about 8,000 words, so I've got other projects in the works. It's just, again, I can't write that fast, and I I'm too self-loathing when it comes to certain things that it hangs me up sometimes. But, you know, it's actually kind of funny that the majority of the people on this podcast are more or less fan fiction writers of one degree or other. So,
well, I only started writing fan fiction because I lost a bet.
What?
Yeah, because I lost a bet. I lost a bet that I really don't want to go into detail about. And then it's like, okay, I'm gonna write a fan fiction. So what am I gonna do? And then the recasted fic came into being, and then I just being me, I didn't want it to suck.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I understand that.
Well, I
So
started writing
didn't
fan
want it to suck.
fiction because there weren't any kind of stories that I wanted to read. For example, my very first story was Battleships Are Magic.
You write some of the weirdest stories sometimes, I swear. But I love them. And honestly, the one that pops into my mind is, and then Twilight was a Marine. Definitely one of those. We can talk about that a little more. And the supposed interview I might be doing with you after this podcast. Nah.
All right, that's fine. But fan fiction, like anything else, is just practice. I look back at my old stuff and I cringe at how terrible it is.
Yeah, I get that. You know, it's the same reason why I do have this huge monumental project I want to do in terms of fan fiction that I plan on being at least over 100,000 words, and whether or not it actually exists, it actually comes into being, is another story. But don't worry, he'll get back here. But at the same time, that's the reason why I'm writing. Is I have like 4 short stories lined up before I start writing that, is to get practice in. And
I just wanted to. I've never read a murder mystery, and I decided, you know what? Hey, I think I can do this. And apparently, at first, I couldn't because my first draft was horrible. But then I worked hard, and yeah.
So wait, you've never read a murder mystery, and so you wrote one?
Never.
Raymond
read
Chandler is rolling over in his
grave.
grave
A pony.
right now.
Okay.
Yeah, a pony. Yeah,
Okay.
a pony murder mystery.
Okay, that makes more sense now.
What did you say? Totally not.
I said Raymond Chandler's rolling over in his grave right now.
Yeah. The main character in my story is lifted directly from one of my favorite murder mystery series. So yes, I've read them. I've never read a pony version though.
Which series is that?
The Pendergast series by Douglas Preston.
Oh,
and
I
Lincoln
got
Child.
all those in first edition.
Yeah. The main character in my story, Bentgrass, is a loving homage to Pendergast.
Aloysius Pendergast.
Agrostis Bentgrass.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm the genius. Yes.
Do
Yes.
not question my genius!
Yes, indeed.
I've actually wrote 2 things, but it's been a while ago, and neither one of them were pony related. They're just one I was bored. One, I read the Twilight books, and I thought, these are so bad that I'm going to write something even worse. So I wrote a parody of them.
Genius!
It was awful. I mean, it was awful on purpose, though.
At least it was on purpose.
It was. I mean, the main character's name was Fiona Fonatella, so you know.
Yeah, so we're all writers of sorts here.
Yes.
Indeed. But, yeah, fanfiction documentary. Giving Bronies fanfiction writers their time in the sun, you know. Well-deserved, I think. Because it's like you said, a lot of people do kind of have that conception, that notion that fanfiction is just lousy self-inserts, you know, self-fulfilling wish. I wish this could be me, sort of horrible...
Yeah,
horrible
you can
writing.
get that everywhere, though.
You get that.
Like, what was that Zelda one? Oh gosh. Zelda, there's that Zelda one, My Immortal. It's like, whenever someone says fan fiction, that's usually what pops into people's head, and I just really hope this documentary can change that.
Yeah, me too. I mean, let's put it this way. If you're a brony and you like reading, you would probably enjoy some of the good brony fanfictions out there, and there's a good number of good fanfictions, so it won't be too hard to find. I mean, we do reviews every now and again on our site. So we're telling you what's good and what's not. Yeah, you should totally check those out. And that's not a self-promotion at all.
Totally not.
Totally not a brony.
Nah. Puns.
I'm so witty.
Indeed. So, actually...
I am making love to my voice.
Okay, Dr. Frankenfurter.
Okay, this is deteriorating.
Okay.
Oh, this is quickly deteriorating. Anyone have anything else they want to bring up before we wrap this up?
No, I do not have anything to say to you plebeians.
I do, but I shall tell you tomorrow. I want to see you quiver with anticipation.
Say it. Thank you.
Okay, so, I guess we'll kind of advertise our need for a head of music, although we do have an application at the moment. Whether or not that pans out is yet to be seen, but...
Holy crap, really?
Yeah, we do. What? Was that
We've
genuine?
been asking for one for like 5 billion years, and we finally got one.
Yeah, we'll see how things work out. But at the same time, if you think it's not yet definite, but so we are still accepting applications at this point until this until whether or not this person gets accepted or rejected. But so if you think it's something you can do, the only requirement is that you have military background of some sort, and by that I mean actively serving or have served in the past. And that's just because in our head positions we want that military exposure, that military perspective. But if you want to help out on the website as staff in general, we the lieutenants, the junior positions like Tweak is and Silvermane.
Okay.
I mean, it's true. You guys aren't in charge of anyone. You're just told what to do, kind of. Let's face it. That does not require military background. I mean, it's preferred, but it is not a requirement. So if you want to help out in one capacity, I'm not quite sure. There is... Hold on. Before I say this absolutely wrong, let me go to our website, because there is... On our staff page, I believe, is where we advertise, because if you go to our website and go to HQ Staff, in the tab right above there, you will scroll down all the way and see want to join the staff. We are currently on the lookout for, and if we're recruiting for anything, you will see there. Right now, all that is listed is head of music, because we are more or less fine with the staff we have on, working things out at the moment. But if we have any positions that ever open up, you can find out there. And we'll probably advertise it on this podcast as well. Just good for business sort of thing. And, yeah, so hopefully the head of music thing works out. But like I said, not definite. If you think it's something you can do, certainly send us an application. And we will consider it just as we're considering the one that has currently been sent to us. Everyone gets a fair chance. Yeah. And
Cool.
Yeah, totally cool, because we're all about equal opportunity in the military. Yes. So, with nothing else to say, if you've got something you want to send to us as a suggested podcast topic, just email us at fobequestria@gmail.com with the subject line of podcast, and we will certainly consider it. We'll let you know if it will be something that will be discussed, or if not, we'll be polite about it and say, sorry, this isn't something we plan to bring up, But we do appreciate you guys sending it in when you do. It definitely helps us out, because there's slow weeks every now and again. But, yeah, say your goodbyes, everyone, and we will wrap this thing up.
Semper Fi, my bronies, and happy Mother's Day.
Make sure
Semper
you call.
Fi. Yes, make sure you call.
Thanks for hanging out, y'all. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you thought we were entertaining. And until next time, Pony Strong. Ho.
And Totally Not a Brony, we'll do something of an interview of sorts after this. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, say your goodbye. It was fun having you here. Although I wish we could have talked a little more with you.
Well, that's kind of my fault. I don't really talk anyway, but...
Well, we'll fix that in the
fun.
interview.
You threatened
Alright.
to kill us if we talk about you.
It's fine. It's all right. All right. See y'all later.
Yes, this has been the FOB Equestria Podcast. And take it easy, my bronies. Semper Fi.